He has to reign through the power of an indestructible life. Otherwise, it couldn't intercede in our hearts.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the only way. And so that's what it means, he ever liveth to make his intercession. The reason why it says intercession is because the high priest interceded.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
So Jesus is the high priest.
Mm-hmm.
And so he reigns through the power of an indestructible life so that we can have an advocate that can intercede in our hearts, keep our hearts from fear, cleanse our hearts from fear in the day of scrutiny when the world comes and uncovers our nakedness, uncovers our inability to clothe upon ourselves with life.
Yeah.
Right? We see our advocate intercedes. An advocate is like someone that will argue the cause of one.
Mm-hmm.
They'll argue the cause of someone. Mm-hmm. Well, in the day of scrutiny, there's something there arguing a cause against you. Hasatan is sitting there, which means the accuser of the brethren, which actually means prosecuting attorney. Mm-hmm. And so in that day, we have an advocate. We have one that will argue our cause, not to God. Satan's not accusing us to God anymore. He's accusing us to us. And so he's telling us, right? He's judging us. Look at your nakedness. He's uncovering our nakedness. He's pointing at our inability to clothe ourselves with life. And now we have an advocate that comes and argues our cause to us, the Son of Man.
There you go.
So Stephen is saying he hears Hasatan, he hears prosecuting attorney laying accusations at his feet, but he sees that he has another one arguing his cause, the Son of Man, the just one, Jesus. And that interceded in his heart. Kept his heart from fear, filled his heart with the love of God, and now we see the Spirit of the Son manifest in him because he did the same thing the Son did. He prayed for those that were killing him. Right? Listen, you can't do that because you heard that's the right way.
No.
You can only do that by the love of God having been perfected in you.
Right.
That's the only way it can happen. And the only way that can happen is by beholding the word of life, being strengthened by the word of life.
Right.
Where, just like Psalm 23 says, you could say that dynamic with Stephen. Stephen would have been saying something like, the Lord is my shepherd. He leadeth me beside the still waters of grace. He maketh me to lie down in tender green grass. So Stephen beheld the Lord. And that led him beside the still waters of grace. It made him to lie down in the tender green grass. Right? He began finding something in him that said, my cup runneth over. Right? Yeah. The Lord prepared a table for me in the midst of my enemies. In the midst of death coming to my house, the Lord has come and showed me my life in his face. Right? And that has caused me to say, my cup runneth over. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. Your spirit comforts me.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.